For some of you, the scenes where Ahsoka spends her time revisiting the Clone Wars was pure nostalgia, and I have to say that I was a huge fan of episode 5 and I can't wait to see what's in store during these last 3 episodes. But I went a step further than just watching these Clone Wars scenes. I actually went in depth and decoded one of the more important scenes during this episode. If you noticed during those scenes, she only visits key moments of her life, moments that left an impression on her, whether it was a traumatic experience she has been carrying as a burden, or what I believe is a regret, a moment she wanted to revisit but was stopped by Anakin mid-track, and that is the Siege of Mandalore. A lot happened during that mission, as we see in the final episodes of the Clone Wars Season 7. This is the last time Ahsoka and Anakin are together as friends. After this, Anakin goes off to save the Chancellor. Meanwhile, Ahsoka and the 332nd, under the command of Rex, move on to stop Maul and his Shadow Collective. What happens next is crucial for Ahsoka, a moment that it seems she hasn't let go of still. This is why I think Rex makes a cameo during this vision of hers, because a decision came to the last second during this mission that shaped not only Rex's future, but Ahsoka as well. I think that Ahsoka, after what happened in the Siege of Mandalore, changed her completely. Let's start by actually explaining something. Dave Filoni explicitly said in an interview that Anakin is not the main character in the Clone Wars series. These guys are.
Identifying the main characters of the series then are probably Ahsoka and Rex. They're the characters that we don't know about. We see this series largely through their eyes, even though there are many different story arcs. So there was a responsibility to tell the end of their story and then hand off Anakin and Obi-Wan to their proper conclusion, which is in the film Revenge of the Sith.
This means that what Ahsoka does decides the future of her as well as Rex. They are intertwined in a way throughout this series. Even after the Clone Wars, they again reunite to fight the Empire in the Rebels series.
You got old.
Had to happen sometime, Rex.
They go through the Clone Wars together. They represent order and chaos. Of course, the father of both of them, so to speak, was Anakin. He was Ahsoka's master and Rex's Jedi General. While on Mandalore, Ahsoka has to meet both Anakin and Rex because these guys are all she ever knew in the early stages of her life. But ultimately, what happens? Rex disappears into battle and Anakin turns dark on a moment's notice, frustrated with Ahsoka, eyes turning red and his lightsaber as well. Meaning that this particular moment, if Ahsoka had chosen a different path, perhaps she would have been able to save everyone, including Anakin and Rex, and perhaps even stop Order 66. You see, I'm here to tell you what the episode didn't show you. During the Siege of Mandalore, it wasn't just Rex, Ahsoka, Shadow Collectives. In fact, the decision of Ahsoka's life comes later, if you remember, when she faces Maul head-to-head. Maul, rather, had already figured it out. He wasn't going after Ahsoka. He reveals his true plan to her, that he was luring Skywalker here because he would be the future apprentice to the Dark Lord he once served, Darth Sidious. And Maul, seeing how the pieces to this puzzle fit, he asked Ahsoka to join him in his quest, stop Anakin from becoming what would later be known as Vader. This is the most crucial moment in Ahsoka's life. It is the sole reason why she came back to the Siege of Mandalore and why Anakin turns to the dark side here in this place, because Ahsoka thinks she made the wrong choice by not backing up Maul and not believing in him. Dave Filoni doesn't just insert scenes in a whim. He knows what he's doing, especially with episode 5, an episode that he actually directed and wrote himself. He specifically chose what he chose because he wanted us fans to actually ask this question. During this vision, while Ahsoka is on the Siege of Mandalore, this is when Anakin turns to the dark side and fights Ahsoka with his red blade, meaning that that this is the place where Ahsoka made the wrong turn, the wrong choice, or at least that's what she believes in her head. We're gonna see later on why this is perhaps wrongful thinking of Ahsoka. I'm gonna try to explain everything to you guys because it is a very gut-wrenching moment, realizing that Ahsoka may not have made a mistake by not joining Maul. However, it's a double-edged sword. We know that Maul wasn't in it for the greater good, of course. Maul was seeking more power for him. As he grabbed power in Mandalore, without Sidious, what do you think he would do? Alright, so let's just say for a second Ahsoka had teamed up with Maul, believed him that Sidious is taking Anakin as an apprentice. She subsequently would have saved the Jedi Order, stopped Order 66, and perhaps even destroyed Sidious with the help of Maul. Imagine how the Star Wars timeline would look. Well, as you imagine, let me show you what Dave Filoni actually said about this decision.
Together they could eliminate Sidious, so you're talking about the lesser of evils. Of course, the concern there has to be that Maul's actually seeking power for himself, and power is intoxicating. And once you start down the dark path, forever will dominate your destiny. So as she gains greater power, how does she know the limit to which she's making the right decision or the wrong decision? And Ahsoka's choice, Maul's offer, is all part of that bigger opera of the battle.
In a sense, whatever was supposed to happen, happened. Whether Ahsoka knows this or not, it seems this is why she subconsciously came back to the siege of Mandalore. She really wanted to ask herself, if I had to do it all over again, would I accept Maul's offer, knowing what I know now? But Anakin challenging her to a fight with a red blade already turned dark signified to me at least that no matter what she does, Anakin would still end up going down the same dark path and ultimately redeemed in the end, bringing balance to the Force, destroying the Emperor, and so forth and so forth. Since Dave Filoni said that Ahsoka and Rex are the main characters of the Clone Wars series in a way, then it makes sense for Rex to be here too, because her decision to not join Maul affected Rex as much as Ahsoka. Rex had an inhibitor chip that he visibly struggled against when Palpatine executed Order 66, and he even told Ahsoka to find Fives. Then, after being saved, he and Ahsoka go against Jesse and many other clones. It's the first time we see Rex actually cry. This broke the spirit of Rex a bit, and it makes total sense that Ahsoka would have him there on this journey too. We would see him. Similar to how Ahsoka's life is destroyed, so is Rex's life after Order 66. With that order and with the formation of the Empire, both Ahsoka's kind and that of Rex as clone troopers, they both went extinct. Jedi were fugitives, and clones, as we see in the Bad Batch, were slowly wiped off as if they never existed, replaced by an inferior stormtrooper corps. This, I think, is what really bothers Ahsoka to her core. And if Anakin hadn't met up with her and started fighting her, then she would have gone to meet with Maul, thinking she would still change things. Precisely why Anakin shifted her focus. You see, as much as she clings to her past decisions, Anakin is trying hard to make her let go, for her to fight, to keep fighting, because the past cannot be changed. Anakin was always going to become Vader whether she and Maul teamed up or not. Leave it to the master Dave Filoni to tell us through complicated time jumps that this is it. Ahsoka has finally learned her lesson. This is the final lesson taught by her last master, Anakin Skywalker. And who thinks also that we haven't seen the last of Anakin? Because in those trailers we have more lines that we didn't hear in episode 5. So let me know down below in the comments.